My name is Nicco Calandrino, and today I'm going to be talking about my project, Labor Market Policies and Worker Rights. The four main topics that I'm going to be discussing in this project are minimum wage, gig workers like Uber Eats or DoorDash drivers, unions, and automation and AI. Slide 1. The minimum wage and the problem. The federal minimum wage has been at $7.25 since 2009. This is the longest period without an increase in history. Many people can't afford their simple bills like food, rent, utilities. Because of this, many states have raised their own wages. The Raise the Wage Act of 2025 proposes that every wage is raised to $17 by 2030, regardless of state. This will impact 22.3 million workers globally. This is 15% of the U.S. workforce. This will also lift 1.3 million families out of poverty. Some arguments to raise the minimum wages. $7.25 just doesn't cover the basic needs in the U.S. anymore. Higher wages means more spending power. It will boost the economy, especially for small businesses getting more traction. States have uneven wage levels, and this will even it out, which is heavily needed. Why not to raise it? Small businesses could struggle. Some areas have lower living costs. Higher wages push more automation, like AI and job loss, and it can reduce jobs. It is about gig economy workers, like people who drive for Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, or Instacart. More companies are using gig workers each year. Are employees like this employees, or are they independent contractors? Contractors don't get the protections, which is why the gig economy is such a big debate right now. The California AB 5. California tried to solve the law called the AB 5. The AB 5 uses something called the ABC test. It basically says that most gig workers should be treated as employees. To count as contractors, you must meet all of the ABC rules, which there's 3. Uber and Lyft argued against the law and took it to court, but the courts upheld the AB 5, meaning the law still stands. AB 5 shows how states are trying new ideas to protect gig workers. These gig workers are being misclassified. Companies save money by calling them contractors, which is just an unfair advantage for these companies. But then workers lose these benefits like overtime, health insurance, and unemployment help. Gig workers also deal with app ratings and algorithms to help control how they earn. Supporters say this setup is unfair and unsafe for these workers, and they believe gig workers need clearer rights and better protections. Arguments for flexibility. On the other side of this, some workers like the flexibility of being a gig worker. They can choose their hours, their own work week, what they want to do. Companies have strict rules that may not work for these gig workers. If all gig workers become employees, costs will go up. That means that fewer gigs and higher prices for customers that are buying from these Uber Eats or Instacart shopping apps. Many people just want quick and flexible income, and that's why they do these work jobs. Trying to find our middle ground. Some people think the best option is finding something in the middle. They suggest a third worker category, something other than an employee and contractor. They give gig workers some benefits like minimum pay and protections, but it also keeps flexible schedules. Another idea is portable benefits, where workers keep their benefits even if they switch their apps. This middle ground tries to help workers without killing the gig flexibility. Is the union decline versus labor market flexibility? We're starting talking about the union. Obviously, here's the numbers for the union, private, public sector. They've lost a ton of workers. My father, he's a 62-year-old man. He used to work in the painters union when he was younger. It used to be way more popular back then to take a unionized job over what everybody's doing now. It's just not as worth it. The right to work states have lost a lot of union workers, and it's just shrinking all over the country. Why the decline? There are many reasons unions have gone down. Factory jobs have moved overseas. We buy a lot of stuff overseas, so we don't really make it as much over here. Companies often fight with unions during organization. It's kind of hard to, mix in together when both sides are wanting something different. Our economy has shifted to service jobs, which is harder to unionize. Painters, plumbers, electricians, any of that kind of stuff is kind of less sought after nowadays. Not that it's not needed, it's just not as centralized in education and what kids want to go do. More people today are focused on individual work than group efforts, individual trades instead of a group one. And laws in many states making unionizing way harder. The PRO Act. The PRO Act is a new plan to help unions grow again. It would end right to work laws in the states, which would grow the unions again. It would add a stronger punishment for employers who break the labor, like rules or laws. It would make it easier for workers to join unions called card checks, or using a card check, It also allows for more types of strikes and boycotts, so these union workers can actually use their voice and get what they want. The House has supported it before, but the Senate has not yet passed it. Arguments. People who support unions help workers earn more money. Union workers make about 17% more than non-union workers. They also get a safer workplace and better benefits. It's nice to have that safety blanket when you're working this kind of job. Unions help reduce income gaps in the countries. Most Americans believe union decline hurts workers. Supporters say unions help build stronger middle class. So we have that middle ground, and the poverty line is just raised a little bit. We can get, a lot of families out of that. Arguments for labor flexibility. People say that strong unions worry that they limit flexibility, just like as we were talking about with like the DoorDash and all that. These unions can slow down companies when rules are too strict. This can hurt companies competing in global markets. They also have high-skilled workers that may prefer their own contracts or, want their own, pay that they're not getting in that union if they feel they're above that level. Some workers like right to work laws because they don't want to pay the dues, and they do believe that companies should move fast without union restrictions. So this section is about automation and AI and how they affect jobs. About 30% of U.S. jobs may risk being taken over by AI in 2030. AI can make work faster, but it can also replace workers. Some jobs grow, but some disappear. Education and retraining. One of the biggest solutions in retaining workers. This means that helping people learn new skills for new jobs so that they're better trained than these AI, artificial intelligence operations. Ideas are that more job training programs, more community college partnerships, more lifelong credits so that adults can keep studying and be actually more suited for these jobs than AI can. Job guarantee. Some people think we need a safety plan if AI takes jobs. One idea is universal basic income, a UBI. A UBI gives everybody a set amount of money. Another idea is a job guarantee, where the government gives a job to anyone who needs one. Both ideas try to protect people, but they can be expensive. Taxation. Another idea is robot tax. This means companies that replace workers with machines would pay a tax. The tax money would help pay for retraining programs. It would also, help give back to the people that lost these jobs, maybe give them a chance to get a new job, get something back. Strengthening the safety net. Some people say we need to update our safety net. This means making benefits more portable so that workers, can switch jobs. If they want health care, it's not tied to their employment. So they don't feel so detrimental if they leave. Me and everything that I went through with my health, I'm going to have to find a job with good health insurance, and leaving that job would be detrimental if I had to leave that health insurance. So understandably, this is tough for some people. Wage insurance could help some workers who take lower paying jobs after finding their old ones. It could help them out a little bit, get back on their feet. Work sharing and reduced hours. Another idea is work sharing. This means companies cut hours instead of firing people. Some countries use shorter work weeks, like 30 to 35 hours. Jobs may be at risk to data entry, telemarketing, and routine factory work. Jobs likely grow, including tech and health insurance and creative work, though. Finding a balance. Even with different opinions, many people agree on a few things. The $7.25 wage, it's outdated. It's got to go. It's got to go up. The gig workers need clearer and fairer rules. AI disruption is real and needs early planning so that when it gets here, we're ready and equipped. The economy is changing too fast to ignore these issues. Our key tensions. These are big trade-offs. We need to balance. So what should the rules be, federally or state-based? Should we focus more on protecting workers or helping businesses innovate? Should we support unions or give workers more individual freedoms? Should we pay more now or wait long-term for the benefits later? These tensions are hard decisions to make, but they're questions we have to ask ourselves. Path forward. The possible solutions include raising the minimum wage based on inflation and location, creating a hybrid category for these gig workers and industry-wide bargaining, give workers lifelong training accounts, helping the communities that get hardest by automation survive and live. And the goal is to protect these workers while keeping the economy strong.